Your friends are gathered around a table. Someone holds up a phone. Okay, everyone smile. And right before the shutter clicks, you step back, or you angle away, or you smile. But later, when they tag you, you quietly untag yourself and feel something loosen in your chest. Relief. And then, immediately after the relief, a faint shame about the relief. Because what kind of person doesn't want to exist in the photo? You do this every time, and you've probably never said it out loud. Here's the thing researchers keep finding. It's almost never actually about the photo. The people this video is about are present in every room and invisible in every feed. They are not antisocial. They are often the most perceptive people in the space, watching, remembering, feeling everything. But they've built a wall between their inner life and the public eye, and most of them have never been given a language for why that wall is there. This video is for them, and if you clicked on it, there's a good chance it's for you. Stay until the end, because the last part doesn't just explain the pattern, it changes what it means. In 1969, a developmental psychologist named Mary Ainsworth began documenting something strange. Infants separated briefly from their mothers and then reunited didn't all behave the same way. Some ran toward comfort. Others, and this is the part that matters, turned away. They busied themselves with toys. They went quiet. They had already, at 12 months old, learned that reaching toward the person they loved most produced inconsistency, or distance, or too much intensity in return. So they adapted. They became self-contained. Ainsworth called this avoidant attachment, but that clinical name doesn't capture what it looked like in a real kitchen in Baltimore. A toddler who had decided, without words, that needing less was the safest way to stay close. That toddler grew up. And now, they don't post their photos online. Here is how an external wound becomes an internal operating system. The child who learned that visibility was dangerous, that asking for attention brought unpredictable responses, that being seen meant being evaluated and sometimes found wanting. That child's nervous system wrote a rule. Stay small, stay back, let others take up the frame. Maybe a parent's attention came with criticism attached. Maybe they learned early that the moment you put yourself forward, something gets taken. The lesson went deep, into the nervous system, into reflex. You can see this before social media ever enters the picture. It's the person who deflects compliments before they land, who changes the subject when someone asks how they're really doing, who laughs at themselves first, so no one else gets the chance. And then social media arrived, and suddenly the whole world was asking everyone to be visible, constantly, publicly, permanently. And for these people, it wasn't an invitation. It was the same old alarm, now with an audience. And here's the strange part. The strategy works. You don't get criticized if you're not in the frame. You don't get ignored if you never asked for attention. The nervous system logs this as a success and doubles down. Protection that functions perfectly is the hardest kind to let go of. The brain keeps running the code written in the environment where it first learned to survive. What if someone criticizes how I look? What if I put myself out there and nothing comes back? These aren't irrational fears. They're fears that once had a function. They kept someone safe once in a room that no longer exists. But the cost is real, because not being seen isn't the same as being at peace. It can look like peace. It often feels like protection. But underneath, sometimes it's loneliness with very good manners, Here is what the research also found, though. These individuals are often extraordinarily capable. They developed rich interior lives precisely because external validation felt unsafe. They became observers, precise, attuned, loyal in ways that never perform loyalty. They are often the most trustworthy people in any room because they are not optimizing for approval. They show up in crises. They listen in a way that feels different from other people's listening. The same sensitivity that makes public visibility feel so high stakes, that's also the thing that makes them extraordinary readers of rooms, of people, of subtext. The wound and the gift came from the same formation. That loss is real, and it deserves to be named. The friendships not deepened because you stayed behind the lens. The moments you weren't in, so they don't exist in anyone's archive. The version of yourself that learned to disappear before anyone could look away. This pattern didn't begin with you. A grandmother who survived something by becoming invisible. A father who learned that taking up space was dangerous. And then, without anyone meaning to, you inherited the reflex, which means you are not broken. You are the latest recipient of a very old message. And here is the question this video has been quietly circling. What would it mean to be the person who decides not to pass it on? Not the pressure of healing everything all at once. Just the idea that the story can change, that the pattern is not your identity, it's your inheritance. An inheritance can be examined, can be set down, not all at once, but a little, over time. Come back to that table. The phone is out. Someone says, smile, and you feel it. The old reflex right on schedule, the lean away, the half turn, the disappearing. Maybe you step back again. That's okay. This isn't about forcing yourself into a frame you're not ready for. But something is different now. For the first time, you notice the space between the reflex and the decision. A pause that wasn't there before. And in that pause, just for a moment, you ask yourself, where have I actually been? In all the rooms where I don't appear in any photograph. You were there. You felt everything. You remembered things no one else did. You were, in every way that matters, present. A photograph doesn't change that. But there is something in allowing yourself to be captured, even once, even imperfectly, even a little reluctantly, that is its own kind of statement. Not for the feed, not for anyone watching. Just the quiet acknowledgement. I was here. I took up space. That space was mine. The shutter clicks, and this time, you let it. If this video named something you've been carrying silently, leave it in the comments, not about yourself. Describe someone you know who lives this way, in one sentence, the way you actually see them. The person who is always the photographer, never the subject. Someone else reading the comments right now might finally feel recognized. And if this channel feels like a place you want to come back to, the subscribe button is right there. No performance required.